still do your job effectively. I'm a clinical negligence barrister. I've been specialising in medical work for at least the last 20 years, and I was appointed Silk in 2013, and the 2 years before that I finally started living my life as Caroline, having up to that point been living it under the false flag of Michael. I guess the glib answer would be to that question that I'm really just being myself and getting on with my life and my work representing my clients. But the true answer, I guess, because it doesn't apply to everybody in my situation, is that what I'm really trying to do is to change attitudes to inclusion in the law, to change the perception that somehow law is exclusive. It's reserved for people who come from a particular background or a particular race or gender. And what I try to do is to show people that difference is not something to be afraid of. On the other hand, it's actually something to be cherished. It's something to be sought out. It's something to be valued, because it makes all of us better and fuller human beings. So how do I try and bring about that change? And the answer is simply by sharing my own journey. So that journey came from a grammar school boy in Lancashire in the 1960s, from a pretty modest family background, very loving, but pretty modest, to a woman who is trusted to tell the stories of clients. In my case, that's very often hospitals and the NHS, but to tell their story in the very highest courts of the land. And that's quite a journey. It was walking home after a counselling session at the Tavistock Clinic, railing inside against the unfairness of being forced to go through this whole process with a psychiatrist who I'm afraid I didn't really gel with, but I had no choice. As I was walking through Russell Square, I had a eureka moment. I suddenly realised that the unfairness that I was feeling viscerally at that moment was the very key to my life. It was like a stick of Blackpool rock, this sense of fairness and justice. And when I was a child growing up in Lancashire in the 1960s, I couldn't fight or strive to achieve my own fairness. I didn't even know what it looked like. I didn't know what it meant. I had no tools to do that. It was just not possible. But completely unconsciously, that sense of fairness motivated and drove me to be able and to fight for the fairness as best I could for other people. And I suddenly realised in that moment, that explains why I became a lawyer, why I became a barrister. It explains what I do and why that matters to me, because what matters to me is justice and fairness. It's not money, it's not prestige or status, it's fairness. The thing is that everybody has a story. Every single client can be a massive corporation or an individual, but they all have their own story. And it's only by reaching a deep understanding of that story, and as it were standing in their shoes, that you can then do your job as a lawyer. Because if you understand their story, you can help them to achieve what they want. You can help them reach their goals. You never judge. That's not our place. You listen. You don't get blinded by your own prejudices, by your own biases. You hear their story and don't be afraid to tell their story, even if that means, as it will on occasions, that you will have to challenge established views, big corporations, powerful interests. Tell their story. It's your job. I think the law needs to be more transparent. It's ironic that the courts talk about open justice, and interestingly, just this week, although that will date the video, but we've had sentencing of a criminal case at the Old Bailey, televised for the very first time. So does that mean that the law is becoming transparent? Well, no, not necessarily, because there's an awful lot that happens behind the scenes that we simply do not know or understand. You do if you're part of the system, but the public doesn't see it. So what is missing is the recognition amongst society as a whole that law is for everybody. It's for anyone, irrespective of your shape, size, colour, creed, background. If you have the passion, if you have the commitment, and you have the talent, then the law needs you.